So hello everyone, my name is Pitam Paul and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today in this video we will be talking about MyTech's internship. So we will be talking about that, and to discuss about all these things that the MyTech's, what is MyTech's and what are the eligibility criteria, how to apply, what is the selection procedure and all, everything we will be going to discuss. And to discuss about all these things, I am having Kankana Kalita with me. She is my junior from NIT Agartala, and she will be sharing all her experiences and all. So let's start then. Without wasting the time, let's start the video. Hi Kankana, welcome to my YouTube channel.
Hi. Hello.
Yeah, and thank you so much for giving me the time for the video. I'm really
That's fine. Yeah. No,
yeah.
no problem.
So first of all, introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Kankana Kalita. I am a recent 2020 chemical engineering graduate from NIT Agartala. And currently I'm working as a graduate engineer trainee in KN Oil and Gas. So that's a brief introduction about me.
Okay, so as I know that you have applied for MyTech's internship, you have the experience. You were there in Canada for 3 months for the internship. So before going into that journey, I would like to want to know that what is MyTech's actually.
Yeah, sure. So MyTech's is a non-profit Canadian organization. Currently, it has completed its 10 years since its beginning. So it is directly under the Education Ministry in Canada. And what MyTech's does is how should I say it? Like it has partnership with almost all the nations like around the world, like India or Brazil or France or Germany or Mexico, like almost all the nations. So what they do is they invite international students from the other countries to pursue internships and graduate studies in Canada, and they also send Canadian students to other country to pursue the same. So it has like a international educational cooperation organization, as you can see, like it is directly under the government.
What is the benefit of means doing this internship and all, means why people should apply for MyTech?
Okay, so the number one benefit and the most important was is like it gives international exposure, which is a very good field, I believe. So as the I'll be talking about the MyTech internship in this video. So as the Canadian universities and the government invite students from other countries to pursue internship, they also provide scholarships for their masters or their postgraduate or their PhD studies. So what they do is they provide they also provide industrial internships in some of the Canadian industries. So it gives a very good exposure. If doesn't matter if you're going into the education field or if you're going into the work field, like industrial field, it provides good exposure. And that is the most important thing. And also it adds a very good value to your CV, I believe. So that is a plus one, of course.
That's for sure. Okay, so what is the eligibility criteria to apply?
So the eligibility criteria, see, MyTech has a numerous program. If you go to the website, you can see that there is one called Global Link and there is one called Accelerate. So Global Link has, I think, 2 or 3 subsections under it. So the one that we applied for as the undergraduate student is the MyTech Global Link Research Internship. They also have Research Award and Global Link Fellowship. So research internship is for undergraduate or postgraduate students. So if you're in the 3rd year of your 4-year undergraduate studies, or if you're in the 4th year of your integrated BTech plus MTech or BSc plus MSc studies, so you can apply for that. That is the eligibility criteria for Global Link internship. And Global Link Research Award, you can apply it as a graduate or a postgraduate student or even a PhD student. And the Global Link Fellowship is the one for those who have completed their Global Link research internships in Canada and they wish to come back to Canada to pursue their MS.
Okay, and means is there any CGPA criteria that you have to have?
Yeah, so for the internship, the CGPA criteria is usually they give like around 8.5 CGPA, which is normally in most Indian universities, it is either 85% or 80%. So
Okay.
that is the CGPA criteria per se, but it's like it's usually important to have a very good CGPA to apply for MyTech. But I have also met people from other institutions which have like a average 8 CGPA, and they also got the internship based on their previous project. So that is one more criteria that you have to follow, which is this is a research internship, right? So you must have some research experience beforehand before going to the internship. like there are also some exceptions for people who got the internship without any prior research experience. But most people I have observed that they have done some kind of internships in IITs or NITs or IISCs or IIMs, like and based on that, on a similar field, they get an invitation from a Canadian university to do 12 week of research in their universities, which is for the internship program.
Okay. So is there anything that means only engineering students can apply, or means the generalized students means?
No, that is not a criteria. So you can see from the website also, like any student can apply. So I have met like a number of students from the engineering field or from the medical field. Like there are people who were doing their undergraduate on medicine, and there are people who were doing their undergraduate on
You mean the MBBS
integrated.
students? MBBS students.
Yeah. No, not MBBS students. Like they are working on specifically on like molecular biology or something, which is kind of related to the medicine field, but not exactly the medicine degree.
Okay.
And there are people who have come from the physics or maths or chemistry, and even I met one girl from Ukraine who she was doing her her studies in the arts field, like she was doing research on indigenous tribes of Canada. And there are some law students also. So it doesn't matter on the field, like if your project or if a project which is somewhat related to your field is listed on the website, you can apply for it.
That's great. And what about I'm just asking because many students having lots of doubts, and few of my juniors also asked me. That's why I'm just asking about about them. Okay, so the thing is agricultural, pharmacy, and means forestry, all the departments now. So can they apply? Means do you know about anything?
Yeah. So as long as your university is listed on the MITEX website for the particular year, and as long as your project or a project similar to your field and the professor's name and the university's name is listed on the website, you can apply for it. But your criteria has to be met. Like it has to be, I'll give you an example. Up to last year, NIT students, they could apply for it. But I don't know if you know this or not. This year, only two NITs, NIT Jaipur and NIT one more NIT, I think it's Warangal or something. Only they could apply to the MITEX scholarship for the next year, that is 2021. Most of NIT students, like even I have juniors from my college, that is NIT Agartala, they were asking me about the internship, and at the last moment they found out that this year NIT Agartala students could not apply for it. So the most important thing is your college should be listed on the website, and as long as your degree criteria are met, you can apply for it, and as long as you found the suitable project.
I heard that means the college must have the TechUp section in their means campus for being eligible.
No.
Is it true?
No. That is not true. That is not true. So see, you have the main purpose of TechUp cell in regarding this internship is to regarding the funds for the scholarship. So if you have a TechUp cell, half of your fund that will come from MHRD through TechUp cell in your college. And if you don't have a TechUp cell, but if your university is eligible to apply for this scholarship, what they will do is they will invite you to Canada, and they will give the entire amount to you in Canada only. Like you have to go there and you have to open a bank account there. I'll be talking about it later. But the important thing is that if you don't have a TechUp cell, that is also fine. If your college is AICTE approved, so then only you can apply. Then also you can apply. But the fund will be given to you. The entire fund will be given to you there. So that is the purpose.
Okay. So now let's talk about the means application procedure, means how to apply, when to apply, and all.
So like the application procedure, the application for a research internship, it usually opens around the last week of July, and it usually goes around 15 or 20 September. So you get a good more than 1.5 months of application period. So for the application, what you do is you need to have number one thing is you need to have a very good CGPA. Like very good, I mean the criteria is 8.5 or 8 sometime like depending on the year of application. So you need to show your transcripts. So that will be for engineering students will be applying in the 5th semester, right? So you will need to show your transcript up to 4th semester. That is number one. And then you have to provide 1 or 2 letters of recommendation. That's usually not from your teachers directly, but from the people under whom you have previously completed research projects. So that is more, that is better for your application process. Like, see, if you've done a course under your professor and he has given you a grade or an excellent, that is fine. But if you have a recommendation letter by a professor saying that this student has completed a internship based on this project under me, and she has done very good work or he has done very good work, that is more preferable. That's what I'm meaning to say. So the letter of recommendation should be usually from a guide who has observed your research work previously. That thing is done, and the statement of purpose you need. But like, see, when applying for MS or some other internship, there you need a fixed statement of purpose, like around 500 words or 1,000 words, like a letter. But in my text, like in our year of application, of course I don't know about the previous year or this year, like the last year. But in our year, like, they have given a in the application portal itself, you have to write your SOP around 100 words. So 100 words is not much, right? It is around 2 or 3 sentences. It's not like two or three paragraphs around of 500 words. So you have to be very precise about what you want to do, and you have to be very precise about what are your interests are and what you have done previously, and you have to write everything in 100 words. That is very less, around 2-3 sentences. So you have to be very precise and you have to be very clear about that. So that is done. And applications, depending on your college, a bona fide certificate may be required. And the basic details, like if you have a passport, you can provide your passport number, and if you don't, you can provide it later. And the basic details, that is all.
And obviously what are the papers you would be needed, all the things would be in the website, I guess.
Yeah, everything is on the website. Like, see, that's what I'm talking about. The year to year, some minute detail about the application procedure or the eligibility may change. So you have to check the website regularly.
And now let's talk about the selection procedure, means how they shortlist the students, means what are the things will be amplifying the importance of the CV or the resume in the application procedure. Okay, actually what they actually see, that's the main thing I think students would like to know.
Yeah, sure. So I apologize, like I forgot to mention, of course the CV is important. You also have to attach a PDF file of the CV. Sorry about that, I forgot to mention that. So now the selection criteria, see, the number one thing that comes is CGPA. As we all know, most professors, like at first they screen the applicants through their educational background. Like if they have a good score, like 8.5 is very decent, I'll say. And for an Indian university, in which like mark is very hard to get, so 8.5 is decent. So you need to have a good CV. That is the first thing that the professor notice. And then if you pass the first test, then they will see like your previous research projects. As I have also said before, that is also very important. So you have to, it's not like you're in your third year, and it's not like you need to publish a paper or you need to do like a very good internship in a very big IIT or something, but you need to do some basic research work. Like for me, it's a personal detail, but anyway, I'll be sharing this, and it's also mentioned in my LinkedIn profile. So I have done a couple of internships in experimental fluid dynamics. So before going to my text, like I have done 2 projects in fluid dynamics. So based on that, the professor will also see like what kind of research work you have done previously, and that's the second screen test. And after that, if they like your CV and if they like your statement of purpose, and if they like the word, that kind of work that you have done previously and that you were interested in doing in the future, based on the number of applicants and based on somewhat, I'll say, based on the professor's own choice, they will have a interview, like a Skype or a Zoom interview or something like that. So based on that, they will sometime they will screen the applicants based on the interview, and if they are satisfied with that, they will provide you a invitation to do research work under him or her. But like that's not a definite criteria. Like I have not had any scheduled interview. So I directly got the offer, and most people directly get the offer, and sometimes they even, like I have heard about from some friends which have they had like 2 or 3 interviews. So based on that, like it's entirely based on the professor's mood. So based on what they will decide, they will proceed accordingly. And the one thing is that in application process, like you have to list around 5 to 7 projects based on your field, and any one of them can contact you, but based on your preference list and based on the professor's preference list. Like if the professor has found more than 2 or 3 students, he will set a preference list. And if the preference are matched, like it's a very hard algorithm. Like even I am not very sure about how the perfect algorithm for matching the students with the professors. And based on that, they will give you a internship offer.
Okay, so that means basically you have to have some basic research experience, and on
Yeah.
that domain you should apply. Is this the
Yes,
thing?
yes.
The
Yes, yes,
domain should
yes.
not be different.
No, no, no. The domain should not be different. Like if you're applying for 5 to 7 projects, the domain of this project should somehow be related. Like it's not you should not choose from very different, like very vast projects.
Okay.
So the project should be related, not related, but it should be from the same domain.
Okay, and so basically, if I just summarize the thing, the overall
Hmm.
profile matters. Not only the CGPA, not only the domain research experience. The overall profile must matter, isn't it?
Yes, 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 yes. So
Okay.
they will look at everything.
Now let's talk about the career opportunities after having a MITEC internship.
Yeah, sure, sure. So the like after you have completed the MITEX internship, if you're going to Canada within 3 years for your graduate or your postgraduate studies, you are eligible to apply for the Global Link fellowship, which is a one-time 15,000 Canadian dollars. That's a
Mhm.
one-time grant, but it is to sustain your masters or your postgraduate. Like a
Is it
master's is
sufficient
usually
amount,
two
or
years.
people would be needed? Means other.
I don't think it's sufficient. Like I think you like if even if you're getting the Global fellowship, you need to have some kind of student loan, or like say if you're getting some other scholarship after going to Canada, or if you're
Okay.
getting like if you're like in some Canadian universities, the professor also supports the, or not supposed, like the professor also funds the research work. Like if it's in a research field, not like if it's in an MBA, so you have to pay everything on your own. But if it's a research work, then professor also supports you. And
Mhm.
like on top of that, you're getting the Global Link fellowship. This fellowship is only for previous Global Link interns. So if you're getting that, then I think it's enough. But like according to me, $15,000. So the master's is 2 years, right? I don't think $15,000 for 2 years is enough. So you need to have on top of that like a loan or something.
Okay, and if anyone doesn't want to apply for Canada, or means
Hmm.
if anyone wants to apply for Germany or USA or other continents like Australia, New
Hmm.
Zealand, so is there any benefit of having this internship?
Yeah, sure. So like, of course, it's a very good value to your CV. And if you're applying for a master's in other countries, so they will see that you have a previous international research experience, right? And that is a very big thing. Like it does not matter. Like of course it matters, but it like doesn't matter whatever the country is. Like if you have an international research experience, that is a very big thing. And
Okay.
so when they consider your MS application, when they see that you have a Canadian research experience, so they will be of course be impressed by that. And if you can somehow manage your professor, like under whom you have done your internship, to write a letter of recommendation for you when applying to masters in other universities in other
Mhm.
countries, so that will be also they will be also very impressed by that a Canadian professor of very prestigious rank has written this letter of recommendation for this student. So I think that will be a very good point. See, I have some friends who are going right now to Switzerland or to US after completing their their Canadian internship. So the experience also helped them, I think, and the exposure is very good. The before going to other countries, they had a very good exposure to research work, like how it is properly done in the foreign. So I think it helps.
Okay, now let's talk about few financial thing, that how
Yeah, sure.
much scholarship you got from
Hmm.
the government
Hmm.
after the
Hmm.
internship,
Yeah, sure. So
and
like
how what is the amount you would be needed from your pocket. That's also matters. I think most of the students want to know that. obviously. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, that is a very important point for Indian students. So before
Yeah.
going to Canada, if you are applying, like if your college have a TechWeb cell under MHRD, so
Mhm.
you'll be getting 4,000 Canadian dollars in your account before leaving the country, like in around April or May before going. So that will be depending on the international rate. That will be around 2 lakhs, more than 2 lakhs, but I'll say 2 lakhs. It's 2 lakh 5,000, 7,000 or something.
Mhm.
So this amount you'll be getting, say in May, right? Like you'll be getting this before going 10 days, 10 days before going to Canada.
Hmm.
So of course, like you have to apply for your visa or your flight ticket previously. Like you can't wait till May to apply for your visa or to book your flight tickets. You have to do it in February or March itself. So that visa and flight, like I'll be speaking from my experience, that costs around for me, it was around 1 lakh. Like it's a round figure, it cost 1 lakh. So that 1 lakh you have to obviously ask from your parents or save from your own scholarship money or something. So that like you have to do you have to give yourself, and after you get the 4,000 like that is 4,000 Canadian dollars, that is 2 lakh from the Indian government MHRD before going, so that will be fine. And after going to Canada, you have to go there and you have to open a Canadian bank account. So in that bank account, phase by phase, you will be getting 4,000. Like you will be there for 3 months, right? The first month you will get suppose $800. Next month you will be getting $1,500, like that. Like they set a fixed timeline for a fixed amount on your bank account, and that is only to sustain your life in Canada. Obviously, we all know Canadian lifestyle is very much expensive than India. So that amount is like at the end of your internship, that amount is $4,000, and before going, you got $4,000 for MHRD. So I'm again saying that this is only for students who have TechWeb cell in their college. If you don't, then first you have to do everything yourself. Like you have to buy the tickets or apply for visa. That costs a lot. And after going to Canada, the procedure is same. Like you will be opening a bank account there, but the amount will be like the entire $8,000 will be given to you by the Canadian government. So say first at the first time you will get 2,000, and then next $2,500. So it's like that. The people who don't get $4,000 from TechWeb, they'll get the entire 8,000 Canadian dollar after going to Canada, like after opening their bank account there.
Okay, so now let's talk about a few tips, means which you would like to give your juniors, what they should do, what's they should not do, and all,
Yeah.
if they want to apply for MITEX. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So the first tip I'll be giving them is, of course, do a very thorough background research. Like first, check the website correctly, and then when you go to the application portal, you'll see the projects listed there. So you should also do a very good background research on the project and on your professor, on your university. And see, this is a very very sensitive subject. I don't know if I should talk about this or not, but I'll be speaking very frankly. So the most important thing is you should know your caliber, right? Like I apologize for being so frank, but a student obviously in her third year of studies know her caliber, like what kind of a student they are, like their CGPA and all their research experience, and they should apply to the projects accordingly. See, like if you're I apologize again for saying this, but I am only giving it as an example.
Don't worry.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you're a 8 CGPA student, and if you don't have enough research experience before, like see, you should not apply to number 1 or number 2 top universities, like as we know, University of Toronto or University of British Columbia, UBC. They are on the top, right?
Yeah.
On the top of Canadian rankings. And see, so by doing that, a student like himself or herself diminishes her chances of getting the scholarship. So and based on your profile, you should apply accordingly. Like you should not, like I don't know if I should say this or not, but you should not aim very high. Like you should aim at some university which have a very good like in which you have a very good chance of getting the offer. Like very prestigious professors, they usually take, like that is the scenario that I have observed, they usually take students from IITs, like the top NITs, IIT Bombay or Delhi or something. in which the student have very good profile or very good experience. Our college is a very decent one, right? And so I think we should apply accordingly. That itself, increases our chance. And of course, it's based on your interest. Like, you should not apply to any projects in which you are not interested in, because that will only affect your work after you go to Canada. So even after you get the offer, like, your work should be, in your own field. So that is one more thing. And yeah, that's what I said. Like, one of the tips is you should do a thorough background research on the professors and the projects. You should like aim accordingly to your interest, and yeah, academically, of course, that is not a tip. That is a criteria that you should maintain a good CGPA and do good and should have a very good profile. That is all. Yeah. And if you have I did not have this, but if before getting the offer, if you have a interview with your professor, you should prepare very well. Like, you should be able to impress the professor.
Okay, so thank you so much for sharing all these things, tips, and at the last, thank you so much once again for sharing all the experiences.
Yeah, no problem. You're welcome.
Yeah. So guys, if you like this video and if you found this video informative, so press the like button and share this video with your friends who want to go for Canadian internship, obviously, and subscribe the channel and press the bell icon so that every video in near future which will be uploaded could be reached to you through notification. So thank you so much everyone. This much for today, and see you on the next video.